One book, one extraordinary life. 48 chapters of saints, science, and the search for God.
I'm Kai.
And I'm Maya.
And this is our take on Autobiography of a Yogi, chapter by chapter.
3 o'clock in the afternoon, June 19th, 1936. A room at the Regent Hotel in Bombay. Sunlight streaming through the window. And Yogananda is roused from meditation by a light that isn't ordinary. The whole room transforms into supernal splendor.
Wait, hold on. This is it, right? This is the moment. 3 months after Sri Yukteswar's Mahasamadhi. 3 months of silence. And now, flesh and blood. The actual form of Sri Yukteswar standing before him.
Waves of rapture engulf him. Physically resurrected presence. The master speaks tenderly. My son. An angel bewitching smile on his face. For the first time in his life, Yogananda doesn't kneel. He advances and gathers the guru in his arms. Moment of moments. The anguish of past months counted weightless against this torrential bliss.
And Yogananda is incoherent. Mastermind, beloved of my heart, why did you leave me? How bitterly have I blamed myself. 3 months of that torment. And now the master is here, physically here.
That Sri Yukteswar's first response is a quick, mirthful chuckle. He says, "Please, dear one, won't you relax your hold a little?" Because Yogananda is embracing him with an octopus grip. This is so human, you know. The guru is just saying, "Let me breathe."
And Yogananda notices everything. The faint, fragrant odor characteristic of his body before. The thrilling touch of his divine flesh. He feels it all. Physical reality. Years later writing this, he says the touch of that divine flesh still persists in his palms whenever he recalls those glorious hours.
Then Sri Yukteswar begins to explain. "I did not want to interfere with your happy anticipation of seeing the Kumbh Mela. I left you only for a little while. Am I not with you again?" The guru is saying the separation isn't real. I was never truly gone. All that torment during those 3 months was unnecessary.
And Yogananda asks the direct question, "But is it you, Master? Are you wearing a body like the one I buried beneath the Puri sands?" He needs confirmation. This is real. Not a vision, not astral. The guru actually here.
And Sri Yukteswar's answer changes everything. "Yes, my child, I am the same. This is a flesh and blood body. From the cosmic atoms, I created an entirely new body, exactly like that which you laid beneath the sands at Puri. I am in truth resurrected, not on earth, but on an astral planet. The guru has changed form, not died, changed address."
So here's what's happening. The guru is explaining the nature of reality itself. Physical death isn't the end of existence. The consciousness that animates the body persists. The guru hasn't died. The guru is existing now on what he calls an astral planet, a realm of existence more refined than the physical.
"Its inhabitants are better able than earthly humanity to meet my lofty standards," the guru continues. "There you and your exalted loved ones shall someday come to be with me. So there is a heaven. There are worlds beyond this physical plane, and the work continues there. The development of consciousness continues there."
Yogananda is drinking this in completely. The text says his mind was in such perfect attunement with his gurus that Sri Yukteswar was conveying his word pictures to me partly by speech and partly by thought transference. Not just words, direct transmission, consciousness speaking to consciousness.
The guru explains that he's been directed by God to serve on an astral planet called Hiranyalaka, the illumined astral planet. His work there is to aid advanced beings to rid themselves of astral karma and attain liberation from astral rebirths. Even in death, the guru's mission continues. The service continues.
And he specifies who lives there. Only those beings who've passed beyond Sabikalpa Samadhi into Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the highest meditation states. Not for ordinary consciousness, only for the most advanced beings who've unified with the infinite. The teaching gets intricate. Sri Yukteswar explains there are many astral planets teeming with astral beings. They use astral planes, masses of light, to travel faster than electricity and radioactive energies. The astral universe is made of subtle vibrations of light and color. It's hundreds of times larger than the material cosmos. The entire physical creation hangs like a little solid basket under the huge, luminous balloon of the astral sphere. So Yogananda is realizing the physical universe he thought was so vast is actually a tiny subset of what exists. the physical world is nested inside a vastly larger astral cosmos, and that's nested inside even subtler causal worlds.
The description of the astral cosmos is extraordinary. Countless astral solar and stellar systems, planets with astral suns and moons more beautiful than physical ones. The astral luminaries resemble the aurora borealis. The guru is painting a vision, conveying the sensory reality of existence beyond the physical.
And the quality of life there. The astral world is infinitely beautiful, clean, pure, orderly, no dead planets or barren lands, no variable climates. The astral planets maintain the even temperature of an eternal spring, with occasional luminous white snow and rain of many colored lights, opal lakes and bright seas and rainbow rivers.
It's not escape from reality. It's a refinement of reality. Beauty without the limitations, without disease, without the heaviness of matter requiring constant physical support. The consciousness is the same, only the expression is more refined.
But here's where it gets interesting. The guru says the ordinary astral universe is peopled with millions of beings from Earth, and also with fairies, mermaids, animals, spirits, demigods, all residing on different planets according to karmic qualifications. The astral world isn't uniform, it's differentiated.
The teaching is subtle. Consciousness itself determines experience. If your consciousness is expanded and loving, you experience freedom. If your consciousness is contracted and selfish, you experience confinement. Even in astral worlds, you can't escape karma. You can't escape the consciousness you've developed.
And then the guru describes the lower astral realms. Among the fallen dark angels expelled from other worlds, friction and war take place with life-tronic bombs and mantric vibratory rays. These beings dwell in gloom-drenched regions, working out evil karma, so consequences are real even there. The universe is moral at the deepest levels.
But above the dark astral prison, all is shining and beautiful. The astral cosmos is more naturally attuned than Earth to the divine will. Every astral object is manifested primarily by God's will, and partially by the will call of astral beings. They have freedom to change and improve the astral cosmos at will.
So it's not passive observation. The beings there are co-creators with God. They can will things into existence. An astral tree can be asked to produce an astral mango. Flowers can materialize from thought. Whole gardens appear and disappear according to the inhabitant's will. Consciousness literally shapes the world.
That's the teaching embedded in the cosmology. Matter itself is consciousness. The distinction between thought and physical form is less absolute than we imagine. In the astral worlds, thought materializes instantly. On physical Earth, thought takes time. There's resistance, there's friction, but the underlying principle is the same.
The astral body itself, it's an exact counterpart of the last physical form. Astral beings retain the appearance they possessed in youth in their previous earthly incarnation. Though, the guru notes, occasionally an astral being chooses, like myself, to retain his old age appearance, and he chuckles merrily at that. A choice to keep that particular beauty.
The astral body has an astral brain, the 1,000-petaled lotus of light, and 6 awakened centers in the sushumna, the astral cerebrospinal axis. The anatomy is real, the physiology is real, not a ghost realm, a fully embodied existence in a more subtle dimension.
Unlike the three-dimensional physical world cognized only by 5 senses, the astral spheres are visible to the 6th sense, intuition. By sheer intuitional feeling, all astral beings see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. They have 3 eyes, 2 partly closed, the third, the chief astral eye on the forehead, is open, the spiritual eye. Not a metaphor, an actual organ of perception.
They can perceive through any part of their body. They can see through the ear or nose or skin, hear through the eyes or tongue, taste through the ears or skin. It's not separate sense organs, it's unified sensory apparatus. Consciousness perceiving itself directly.
Yogananda asks, are all astral persons beautiful? And the guru's answer reveals something essential. Beauty in the astral world is a spiritual quality, not outward conformation. Astral beings attach little importance to facial features, but they have the privilege of costuming themselves at will with specially designed forms. Just as worldly men don new array for gala events, so astral beings dress themselves for special occasions.
And then the guru describes the festive occasions on Hiranyaloka, when a being is liberated from the astral world and is ready to enter the causal world. There are joyous celebrations. On such occasions, the invisible Heavenly Father and the saints merged in him materialize themselves into bodies of their own choice and join the celebration. In order to please his beloved devotee, the Lord takes any desired form.
If the devotee worshipped through devotion, he sees God as the Divine Mother. To Jesus, the Father aspect was appealing. The individuality with which the Creator has endowed each creature makes every conceivable and inconceivable demand on the Lord's versatility. And the Guru and Yogananda laugh together at that. God is infinite versatility. Consciousness can appear in any form.
Friends from other lives easily recognize each other in the astral world. Rejoicing at the immortality of friendship, they realize the indestructibility of love, often doubted at the time of sad, delusive partings on earth. So the teaching of unity comes alive there. Love doesn't die. Friendship doesn't end. Separation is temporary.
But there's a limitation. The intuition of astral beings pierces through the veil and observes human activities on earth. But man cannot view the astral world unless his sixth sense is developed. So it's not symmetric. The astral beings can watch us, we cannot watch them unless we develop the power, unless we practice meditation.
The advanced beings on Hiranyaloka remain mostly awake in ecstasy during the long astral day and night, helping to work out intricate problems of cosmic government and the redemption of prodigal souls. When they sleep, they have occasional dreamlike astral visions. Their minds are usually engrossed in the highest nirbalkable bliss. So even in what we'd call heaven, there's work, there's service.
And here's something that grounds it all. Inhabitants in all parts of the astral worlds are still subject to mental agonies. The sensitive minds of the higher beings feel keen pain if any mistake is made in conduct or perception of truth. So consciousness is responsive, not numbness masquerading as bliss. Acute sensitivity. An advanced being feels acutely if something is out of alignment with truth.
Communication among astral inhabitants is entirely by astral telepathy and television, none of the confusion and misunderstanding of the written and spoken word. So language disappears. Consciousness speaks directly to consciousness, image and meaning transmitted instantly without the barrier of words.
The astral being does not have to contend painfully with death at the time of shedding his luminous body. Many nevertheless feel slightly nervous at the thought of dropping their astral form for the subtler causal one. The astral world is free from unwilling death, disease, and old age. These three dreads are the curse of earth, where man's consciousness has identified itself almost wholly with a frail physical body.
So there's progression, from physical to astral to causal, each more refined, each death less traumatic, because consciousness is less identified with form. The dying becomes easier as consciousness becomes lighter. That's the path.
The cycles repeat. Astral incarnation, astral death, return to physical. Physical incarnation, physical death. These recurrent cycles of astral and physical encasement are the ineluctable destiny of all unenlightened beings. The wheel turns until the consciousness finally awakens to its own nature.
And the teaching woven through it all. These scriptural definitions of heaven and hell are not metaphors. They're descriptions of actual realms of consciousness, maps of consciousness. The truth has been preserved in the scriptures, not as theology, but as natural history.
Yogananda asks his guru to describe in more detail the difference between rebirth on earth and in the astral and causal spheres, because he's beginning to understand that there are different kinds of death, different kinds of rebirth, different cosmic laws at different levels.
And the guru answers with extraordinary precision. Man as an individualized soul is essentially causal-bodied. That body is a matrix of 35 ideas. God formed the subtle astral body of 19 elements and the gross physical body of 16 elements, each nested inside the other, each more refined.
The causal body, 35 elements. The astral body, 19 elements. The physical body, 16 elements. A structure, each one the container for more gross forms. The astral body has a complete physiology, not abstract, not vague. It has all the structures and functions needed to sustain life and consciousness at that dimension.
And the guru gives the cosmological framework. God thought out different ideas within himself and projected them into dreams. Lady Cosmic Dream sprang out decorated in all her colossal, endless ornaments of relativity. So creation itself is God's dream. The universe is the divine imagination manifesting. Matter is crystallized thought.
In 35 thought categories, God elaborated all the complexities of man's 19 astral and 16 physical counterparts. By condensation of vibratory forces, first subtle, then gross, he produced man's astral body and finally his physical form. So the universe unfolds from mind to matter. Consciousness organizes itself progressively from the subtlest levels to the densest.
According to the law of relativity, the causal cosmos and causal body are different from the astral cosmos and astral body. The physical cosmos and physical body are likewise at variance with the other forms of creation. Each level has its own laws, different frequencies operating under different conditions.
The fleshly body is made of the fixed, objectified dreams of the Creator. The dualities are ever present on earth: disease and health, pain and pleasure, loss and gain. But the soul remains encased in the astral and causal bodies. The adhesive force by which all three bodies are held together is desire.
The power of unfulfilled desires is the root of all man's slavery. You're not free until you've exhausted desire, until you've fulfilled every possible desire, and realize that no desire brings lasting satisfaction. That's when you're ready to let go of all the bodies and merge with the infinite.
Physical desires are rooted in egotism and sense pleasures. The compulsion of sensory experience is more powerful than the desire force connected with astral attachments or causal perceptions. So the physical level is the most binding, the densest, the one where consciousness is most trapped.
But astral desires center around enjoyment in terms of vibration. Astral beings enjoy the ethereal music of the spheres and are entranced by creation as exhaustless expressions of changing light. They smell, taste, and touch light. Astral desires are connected with the power to precipitate objects and experiences as forms of light, or as condensed thoughts.
Causal desires are fulfilled by perception only. Beings in the causal body see the whole universe as realizations of God's dream ideas. They can materialize anything and everything in sheer thought. Those covered only by the delicate veil of the causal body can bring universes into manifestation, even as the Creator.
A soul, being invisible by nature, can be distinguished only by the presence of its body or bodies. The mere presence of a body signifies its existence is made possible by unfulfilled desires. So you can measure spiritual development by what bodies you're still wearing.
So long as the soul is encased in 1, 2, or 3 body containers, sealed tightly with the corks of ignorance and desires, he cannot merge with the sea of spirit. When the gross physical receptacle is destroyed, the other 2 coverings, astral and causal, still remain to prevent the soul from consciously joining the omnipotent life.
But when desirelessness is attained through wisdom, its power disintegrates the 2 remaining vessels. The tiny human soul emerges, free at last. It is one with the measureless amplitude. That's it. That's the destination. Total liberation, total mergence with the infinite.
That's what Sri Yukteswar is describing to Yogananda. This is the culmination of the entire guru-disciple relationship. The guru didn't die. The guru changed address. The work continues. The love never breaks. And the disciple finally understands that death is just one more dream, one more transition.
Consciousness itself is eternal. The guru appeared not as a ghost, not as illusion, as flesh and blood presence, speaking the deepest teachings, explaining the architecture of consciousness itself.
What Yogananda is receiving isn't information, it's direct knowledge, transmission. The consciousness of the guru pouring into the consciousness of the disciple. 3 o'clock in the afternoon in a hotel room in Bombay, the guru appearing from death, and everything changes.
See you next time.
See you next time.